Battlefield Podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Ola aka ChalkOne from Battlefield Podcast here with the first episode of a new series that Peekaboo Bang and I will be doing on a regular basis. We're going to be talking about all sorts of topics about Battlefield 4, whether that be tricks or strategies or tactics for beating certain maps, or just general opinion pieces on whatever the hot topic, DLC-wise, otherwise may be. In this first episode, we thought we'd take a look at the assignments in Battlefield 4. Assignments really were first brought into the Battlefield series in Battlefield 3 to any kind of extent, and have constantly been added upon by DLCs, and Battlefield 4 of course is no different. The three tiers, the bronze, silver, and gold assignments, which you can all find on your battle log obviously, but they've sort of restructured them and they've made them a little bit different, so we wanted to chat a little bit about how they're different from Battlefield 3, whether or not we still like them. I for one used to spend a lot of time trying to get all the assignments completed. I know there's a lot of completionists out there that like trying to get those, just like people like to get master dog tags and all the weapons and so on. But I think they're different enough in Battlefield 4 that it's worth talking about a little bit, especially with the recent assignments that came with the Second Assault DLC. So in the background you'll see some PC footage that we recorded earlier, and actually managed to unlock 3 or 4 of them in that round or two that we played. Some of them are a little bit annoying, I want to venture a guess at. First of all, Peekaboo, what do you think about the assignments in general for Battlefield 4?
I'm not really an assignment hunter. I don't typically play a game to go after assignments. I find it kind of cool if I, manage to get some sort of achievement when I'm playing, but I find the assignments in Battlefield 4 to be a little stressful. I guess that's my favorite word for them, because in BF3 I had a lot of fun actually doing the assignments and getting unlocks with them and whatnot. In BF4 found a lot of them to be quite clunky, quite annoying. Haven't really had a lot of fun doing them either. So
I thought in Battlefield 3 when I first started that there was only a handful of assignments that first showed up, maybe 12 or something like that. So it's really manageable, it's really easy to distinguish, you know what, today I'm going to go after this assignment. And then, yeah, as the DLCs came out and premium assignments started getting added, it added up, but it was sort of gradual. Whereas I thought even when Battlefield 4 Vanilla just came out, it was just like, bam, here's 50 things for you to do. And it's like, oh, God,
right.
No. They did add the tracking functionality on Battlelog, which is kind of neat, so you can keep an eye on it, but it doesn't really integrate with the game. It'd be kind of cool if in the game it showed you, you've now just completed another requirement towards this assignment that you're tracking or something. But the Operation, it's not really an Operation Firestorm assignment, but it's the Gall Magnum assignment that we did earlier and I tweeted about. This is the one where you have to get 5 kills off the tower on Operation Firestorm, or on Caspian Border for that matter, but that's kind of irrelevant because that tower never lasts for more than 2 minutes.
Right, it's part of the Levolution.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least the one on Operation Firestorm is persistently there.
Right.
You can't get that taken away from you. But I've heard a lot of talk about the assignments in BF4 not being very friendly towards PTFO or the spirit of the game.
Right. Well, we experienced some of that today. We felt like it was ruining our experience as far as the game went, like, per round. As far as the assignments we were working on. That may not be true for all of them.
No, there are some that are better than others. Some actually encourage you to PTFO, saying you have to get, 10 MCOM arm ribbons or something, and 10 MCOM defense ribbons.
Some of the obliteration ones will require you to pick up the bomb or, whatever.
Yeah. And I think those are the ones that typically you end up unlocking just as you play. Like, all of a sudden something pops up and you're like, oh, cool, I wasn't even going after that. I think the ones that have caused people the most grief are the ones that seem silly, like destroying 20 boats, which, you kind of may eventually get to. And that is a naval strike assignment, so I guess it would be more typical to destroy boats in the future. But I know of people that just go on to Siege of Shanghai and just keep destroying boats over and over to get that. So that's the other thing. It can easily affect the gameplay for the average player is when someone's in a server trying to go and get those assignments. Like you mentioned on Operation Firestorm, today in that round, in any round that I've played on that map recently, there's always people on that tower. You're not contributing anything to the team when you're up there. And frankly, the people just get upset up there.
Yeah, well, you don't touch the burn on Charlie when you're up there, so you're not helping anything as far as that point goes on the map. Especially when you're playing some sort of conquest map. So yeah, you really don't. I mean, in any high point on a map, there's going to be snipers that love that little, honey hole or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't find that spot to be a sniper honey hole because it's in the middle of the map and because it's so prevalent, because people are always up there and it's part of an assignment. So the first place you're going to check is that tower. And if I were a horrible person, I would just go sit up on the mountains coming from that one side and just wait for people to go up there.
Yeah.
And we saw that today with some people just hanging out up there, picking us off like...
There were tanks parked halfway across the map shelling that area because they don't even need to see if anyone's up there. It's just a pretty good chance.
Yep.
And I mean, some of the assignments are a little bit better. The one in Metro...
that wasn't too bad, I thought.
No, I think it's more challenging because some of the requirements you have to complete in one round, so you can't just, accumulate them. Now, Tim mentioned this to me a while ago, that back in Battlefield 2, a lot of the ribbons and medals, all the requirements were about doing stuff in a single round. So they were actually much more challenging than some of the ribbons and unlocks or awards in this game are. But overall, a lot of the assignments stack in the way that you need to complete the bronze assignment before you can do the silver one. A lot of them have rank requirements. Some of them obviously are premium requirements. But what do you think about how it's laid out on Battlelog? Like, is it easy to get an idea of what you're actually doing?
I think the layout on Battlefield 3 was a lot easier to understand as far as what you needed. As far as one assignment, you need this one before you move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. And it showed it as locked. You couldn't even see what the assignment was, or, on most of them, before you had completed a certain number for this assignment, say. So I liked that a lot better. It was a lot easier to navigate as far as a particular order or how they were laid out or which DLC they came with or if it required vehicles or whatnot. I think it was a lot easier in BF3 than it is on Battlelog now as far as, sorting out what assignments there are. I mean, I basically have to look at each assignment and be like, oh, well, I can't do that one because I hate flying jets, so why am I going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little more...
Before I find one that I'm going to work on.
Yeah. And let's face it, I mean, the rewards for these assignments are various. Some of them are dog tags. The ones for the DLCs, that's how we always get the new weapons. And that's what people are after. And I talked about it in the video where I talked about how to unlock the Naval Strike weapons. That by the time the DLC actually comes out, I guarantee you most people will already have these unlocked, because except for one, you can get now, just by completing the requirements. So, I've heard a bit about how some of the requirements on those weapon assignments in particular are almost a little bit trollish, like you have to get a kill with a sniper rifle and with an LVG and with a defib. Stuff that you don't typically do in the course of a regular round.
Yeah. There were a few of those in BF3, defib kill requirements, and then also destroy an enemy vehicle with a repair tool, or repair tool kill even. Those were, there were a couple of those.
The EOD bot one drove me crazy.
Yeah, that was, it did require, a lot of them don't really promote PTFO. Like, we were not PTFOing when we were working on that Gold Magnum. Eagle's Nest is the assignment at all, and, I mean...
Not even on the Express Train one, I'll have to admit, the one that unlocks the F2000, because you have to get 2 kill assist ribbons in a round, and I actually originally thought that's going to be easy. Okay, so that's one requirement. The other one's 10 kills inside the Metro. That's not a problem when you're playing Metro, especially on a 64-man server. So I figured the kill assists, I'm sure I'll be shooting at so many people and don't get the kills, but I'll get them. Wasn't as easy as I thought. I ended up literally... I hesitate to look at my accuracy that round, because I must have shot like 2,000 rounds of LMG ammo just randomly at the smoke, Because that's
That
the
was
other
what
thing
we
Metro's
both
good
did.
for.
We both ended up. I ended up getting most of my kills at the beginning. I think with
Yes, you were right up
AAK.
there early.
I was playing with my AAK, and then I wasn't getting kill assists. I was just wrecking people. So I was like, yeah, I should probably pick up the PKP because
Right.
that's just enough damage to hurt someone so you get a kill assist, but not enough and not accurate enough the PKP to get the kill. Although I was still getting a number of kills with that, but I found that to be the easiest way to unlock that assignment was with an LMG and just find a corner and hang out there,
Right.
which at least on Metro happens to kind of be helping your team, especially if you push up against elevators and you're on the burn and you can kind of push that way, which is what we ended up doing. But um, yeah,
True.
it was still. You think it's gonna be kill assists are gonna be easy, and then we're like,
Then
I
they're
don't know. Did I get
surprisingly
them?
not.
I really don't know how many kill assists I got, or if I unlocked that
Well,
ribbon
that was
or
the
not.
thing. Kills are easy to track. Kill assists was kind of like, I have no idea. I mean, I'll just gotta wait and hope that the ribbon popped up. And in fact, at the end of the round, you weren't sure.
I had to go over to the assignments tab on my,
Yeah.
when your assignments and your ribbons and stuff popped up to see if I'd gotten it.
Especially on Metro, where you tend to get so many ribbons that just like pop up, they get lost easily. Sometimes they're not displayed because it's too much going on. Or
Yeah, well, when you get 23 ribbons in a round, it doesn't it doesn't display them all. So
right. Well, so I mean, the assignments. There's only going to be more of them. Obviously, for the whatever the next DLC, I forgot the name of it already. After Naval Strike, there'll be more of those. So I'm curious what our viewers think. For me personally, I just haven't gone after the assignments as much as I did in Battlefield 3, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. I think I'm trying to go after the ones that give me weapons, just because I want to have them. But a lot of the other ones, it's just, I don't know whether it's too much. I think a lot of it, frankly, falls back to, I looked at how many hours I had in BF3, and I'm probably at less than 20% of that so far in BF4. I mean, that's obviously a big part of it. I think a lot of the assignments will come as I just play more.
yeah, I also think too, like you mentioned earlier, the sheer number of them. Part of that I think has to do with how they've done the releases of DLCs. It's not been scheduled or laid out like it was in BF3, where you had some time between DLCs and release to work on some of these assignments and get them as you were playing. And a lot of them were, if you just put yourself in a situation you weren't usually playing in, you'd end up getting one or two. But I think just the shoving of some of these DLCs down our throats, back to back has kind of added to the number that are there, that you're just like, holy crap, there's so many.
Yeah. And that I've seen that with weapon unlocks and weapons in general and all the attachments. That may be something we'll talk about in a future video, because I think there is sort of information overload. There's just been too much stuff. I think Tim and I talked about this a long time ago, at the very beginning of Battlefield 4. But at that time we talked about information overload as far as what we already knew about BF4 before the game even came out. In any case, we'd be interested in hearing what you guys think. Let us know in the comments whether or not you're hunting for assignments, whether you think they're great, stupid, they give you something to do, you hate them. I mean, I've literally heard every opinion around, but I'm curious to see what you think. And also, if you have any ideas for other shows or things you want us to talk about in the future, you can do that. You can follow us on Twitter at BF Podcast, and you would be at peekaboo_bang.
That's me. I also want people to leave us some tips or tricks that they've discovered completing some of these assignments. That would be interesting to see.
That is a good idea. And actually, there's a few assignments that we don't know about yet. Those Phantom Prospect and Phantom Trainee, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. Curious. That's sort of something new that they've done with Battlefield 4, and it's been kind of interesting. So let us know, and hopefully you'll tune again next time. Thanks for watching, guys.